guys, what is up? Welcome to another video, and for today's topic I'll be giving my predictions of who I think will become president of the United States in the year 2024, or who will win the election of 2024. Obviously they become president a little bit later down the line, but without further ado, let's go. So the parameters of my rating of who I think will win is basically going to be like this. Instead of saying a de facto winner or whatnot, I like to do things out of a scale of 10. A quick example of this would be like, let's say there's two guys that come up to me and they're like, okay, who do you think will win a fight? I'll be like, guy A, guy B. I think guy A would beat guy B maybe 7 out of 10 fights, simply because anything is possible. There's a possibility that a weak guy could defeat technically a stronger guy. Obviously it's very unlikely, but it's not impossible, and that's why I like to go, that's what I'm trying to go for, right? What I'm going to say right now is, or my logic here is not based on, you know, set truth or fact when it comes to like, oh yeah, it's going to be absolutely Donald Trump's going to win, or oh yeah, without second doubt, Joe Biden has the best, like without odds, without any thinking, Joe Biden will win 100%. No, I'm just gonna go by, you know, out of 10, who do I think will win, or who do I think has a bigger chance out of 10, to be more specific with you guys. So without further ado, let's go into my analysis. So in my humble analysis, I was thinking, let's see, I could talk about the indictments, I could talk about you know, policies that each candidate has and go into detail of it. But more thinking about it, you have to remember that most people don't vote based on super specific policies, or a 3% tax increase, or a 3% interest increase of the banks or something like that. They basically vote based on a popularity contest of who's more appealing and who has a better record, or who they think is the best candidate based on, is this guy good? Do I like him? Is he charismatic? Does he look the part of being president? You know, things that are pretty petty. But again, that's just my basis, simply because most people aren't, you know, a political nerd that knows everything, or knows the difference between socialism and communism, or the difference between fascism and communism, or authoritarianism, or whatnot. So going based on, you know, public knowledge would be like things like, for example, the Trump indictments, the Donald J. Trump being accused of all these heinous crimes every single day, or every single month or week or whatnot, and Joe Biden and the economy. Because again, obviously a lot of people are gonna excuse Joe Biden's economy on, you know, the war in Ukraine or whatnot, right? But a lot of people don't really think that's a valid excuse. Instead, they'll just pin it on the guy in charge, regardless if it actually is or isn't. I'm not here to debate whether it's all Putin's fault, why the economy's bad, or whether it's Joe Biden's fault. I'm just going based on, you know, the average Joe. The average Joe in America sees price is going up, inflation's happening, and sees that Joe Biden is the guy in charge. Therefore, will blame Joe Biden, since, you know, he's the guy in charge. It's his job to make sure this is not happening. So again, big weaknesses of both sides. Joe Biden, weak economy. Donald Trump, literally being accused of, and like, you know, being tried, criminalities, all these, you know, the guy pretty much lives in a courthouse, or he lives with his lawyers, or whatever. Okay, so after all these things, when it comes to comparing these two things, honestly, I'll have to say that probably Donald Trump has a easier time than Joe Biden, simply because when it comes to allegations, and when it comes to you know, the ideas of Donald Trump committing crimes, it's easier for someone to just understand that the price is going higher while Joe Biden's in charge, more than it is for someone to understand the complexities of why Donald Trump was trying to do XYZ, ABCD during the days XYZ. You know what I mean? It's easier to say the price is high because Joe Biden's in charge, than it is to say, oh yeah, Donald Trump is a criminal, he's going to jail because this one time in this one place he did A, B, C, D, and it's illegal because it led to, you know, etc, etc, etc. So in that case, I think Donald Trump has a better edge than Joe Biden. Now we have to go and examine who has the stronger base. When I say stronger base, I'm talking about like fans, people who, are excited, who go out to vote and in turn, roll the ball to see if more people will go and vote. So again, we have Joe Biden and we have, the essence of, the Obama term, or, an Obama-led candidate. Like, everyone thinks of Uncle Joe Biden as, wait, why do they call him Uncle Joe Biden? Whatever. Everyone remembers Joe Biden as, the Obama guy. And Donald Trump, they remember him as the guy that broke politics forever. So when it comes to either one, honestly, I'll have to say that probably Joe Biden probably has a slightly stronger fan base than Donald Trump. Not saying that they're not strong or whatnot, but let's be honest, the Democrat Party has, Antifa, they have the LGBTQ plus community, they got the what's called, the Black Caucus or whatever it's called, they got BLM, all these organizations of, people coming together and doing stuff. And Donald Trump pretty much only has, the MAGA guys and, maybe some NRA guys, maybe some, some libertarian here or there, but, they're more like scattered out. They don't really unite as much as the Democratic base and the Democratic factions than, the Republican factions. So when it comes to base and base power, I'll say that Biden takes actually a win for it. Sure, the Trump base raided the Capitol, but the Democrat base pretty much raided everything else that wasn't the Capitol. Well, actually, they kind of did raid the White House that one time. Like, I think, what was it, May 29th, I think? Where, like, burned, like, a towers. Or, I don't know, this is just, like, a riot there. But I guess nobody cares about that anymore, but whatnot. Again, Joe Biden's base is probably a lot stronger, a lot more secure, a lot more popular, and a lot more easier for people to get into. So when it comes to that, I give my hand to Joe Biden, or my favor to Joe Biden in that aspect. Now, the final thing that I'm going to be rating or giving my opinion on is going to be past presidential record. So what I mean by that is that this is a rare exception or a rare condition we're going to be in these presidential elections, as in both candidates, hypothetically speaking, Donald Trump and Joe Biden, have both been presidents, meaning that for the first time, voters are actually going to know what they're going to get. If you vote for Joe Biden, you're going to get everything between, you're getting the sequel to 2020 to 2024. If you vote for Trump, you want to go back to the 2016 era to 2020 era. So people are going to end up deciding who's president based on who had a better, era of being president. It's now not going to be a vote on who is a better candidate, but who had a better record, a better history, a better, presidential era, American era. So if you have to compare the Joe Biden era to the Donald Trump era, they both have their ups and downs. For example, with Donald Trump's era, the economy was more stable. There's more peace technically, since there was no, Russia invading Ukraine. But at the same time, the Democrats and what's called the Republicans, also because of Trump and Hillary's base or whatnot, they pretty much fought like a mini pseudo civil war all across America, where cities burned down, statues fell, people died all over the country and stuff. And I don't really think people might want that back. And in Joe Biden's America, yes, the country is a lot more peaceful, but again, the world got a little bit more dangerous because of Joe Biden's weak exit of Afghanistan, and then Russia's invasion of Ukraine, right? So both of these candidates have their pluses and their downsides. Trump's plus side being that the economy was pretty stable, and Joe Biden's plus size in the way that Americans really aren't outside protesting, burning buildings and stuff anymore like they did during the Trump era. So when you have to compare and choose, you have to then think about this. If Donald Trump becomes president, we're gonna basically go back to street protests, buildings burning down, and people fighting the pseudo civil war out in the streets. If Joe Biden wins, then we're going to get more of what's happening right now with, high gas prices, high prices in general, the war in Ukraine. Well, even if Donald Trump wins the election, probably there'll still be a war in Ukraine. But that's my humble opinion, and in my opinion, I think Joe Biden might actually win this 6 out of 4. And that's just my opinion, but who knows? I'd like to hear your guys' opinions in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next time. Peace.